This is Dolany TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Edmonton Oilers discussion today. And well, you know what? The playoff dreams, they are done. The after party has come to an end and the Bakersfield Condors have been eliminated from the AHL playoffs. However, guys, nothing but positive vibes all the way around the depth of the organization, the prospects of the organization after the playoff run that was for the Bakersfield Condors. Because, guys, first off, first playoff postseason berth for the Condors as an AHL team. That's number one. Number two, guys, to make it out of that first round. Bang, 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 let's go. Number three, guys, the development of the prospects and the learning they took in from the veterans who were leading the way in the AHL playoffs. Guys, absolutely unreal the amount of experience these guys gained. Unfortunately, as the playoffs wore on against San Diego, Shane Starrett and Stuart Skinner just weren't enough to hold together the team, and it is what it is. After, especially when you're Shane Starrett, you win all those games and don't lose any, and really played amazing hockey by every stretch of the imagination. So, for the Bakersfield Condors, if I have my hat on today, hats off to you guys. However, fresh takes after we are officially into the off season, guys. This is kind of the moment we've been waiting for, because yes, okay, fine and dandy, we've had playoff hockey going on, so yeah, we can talk off season, but you can't talk the full round perspective until you've got the playoffs done. And now, yeah, okay, we've still got, I guess, technically speaking, guys at the Worlds. We've got Dmitry Samorukov in the Memorial Cup. So, oh yeah, hold on. There is still some hockey being played. Let's not kid ourselves. But today, our first full look at a roster shaping up in the minors. That's exactly where I'm going to go. I'm going to go talk about shaping up the 2019-2020 Condors roster. And this, of course, totally blank slate stolen from Bob Stauffer, because I'm reading his take on it and seeing a little bit of an interesting take here on who he thinks is going to be in that Oilers farm system, AHL level next season. And I'll read you off his lines, because this is where it gets really fun. He has Benson, Maruti, Yamamoto, Gambardella, and AHL vet center basically taking over that Brad Malone role on an NHL deal, and then Curry on the second line. Safin, McLeod, and Maximov on the third line. Then Vesey, an AHL centerman again on an AHL deal, kind of taking that Mitch Callahan role. And Hebig. The man you're missing there, I've already talked about Mitch Callahan. I've talked about Brad Malone. Who are we missing in that whole equation up front when you're talking about the Oilers' depth in the farm system for AHL vets? Well, that would be Patrick Russell. That's who you're missing there. He's a UFA G6. I'm not exactly sure what that means, because, hold on, UFA G6, I'm sure I could click on it, but we're not going to worry about that today. Patrick Russell, a guy that is going to free agency at 26. He did make some NHL time, but do you see the Oilers re-signing him? This is where I kind of maybe differ with what Bob Stauffer says. Patrick Russell, a guy that I think has strong reason to be re-signed and reassigned to the AHL team. However, as you see how Bob built that forward group, you suddenly realize, wait a minute, he loses his spot because we've got guys in the pipeline that need to develop at the next level of their career. Well, obvious. Pretty friggin' obvious now, isn't it? So, okay. Moving on from Patrick Russell, that's a tough go. I liked what Patrick Russell brought in his couple of games up in the NHL, but hockey is a business and it is the way it goes. And right there, yes, I will agree with Bob Stauffer on that move. However, there is one guy that I would possibly see joining this team in the AHL next season. And hold on, let me see if I can find the name. Where is it on my list? Is it not forward? No, it's not forward related. Pardon me. I mean, you could bring over one of the Finns, possibly, depending on how they go. Apeli Rasanen or Patrick Sekinen. I'm trying to go through the Oilers roster here. And another guy that could be coming up, I think he's still got one more year of college, is Joey Dudek. So There's 3 names to throw at you as wild cards for the roster, but of course, remember, you need some veterans as well. Whether you want Gambardella and Curry to be those guys, I don't know. Now, defensively, this is another fun one for the Oilers. Is Bob Stauffer's got Bouchard and Samorukov, so we get to see it a level below the NHL before it's our top defensive pair 5 years from now. But you get where I'm going with this. Is it's a slow play on the prospects, and I think Bob's really taken that whole aspect of what everyone sees in Ken Holland as a guy who slow plays the prospects either way, is feed him through the AHL for a few games at least. I don't think Bouchard's down there the full year, guys. I do not think Bouchard is even a mainstay for more than 3 weeks in the AHL. He'll come through the ringer of camp, through everything. He'll play all the camp games, all good, and then he'll play a few games in the AHL. Get up to speed. The Oilers will see what they have in Sekera. The Oilers will see what they have in Benning. The Oilers will see what they have in the rest of the top 6, and then they will make the call to get Bouchard in there. That's kind of what I'm expecting. So I can completely reason why Bob Stauffer would start him in the AHL. I've said that a couple of times. I've said that to you guys in the comments. We've gone back and forth on that. So that one makes complete sense. Now the second one, the second pair, now you're going to realize what the heck's going on here. Keegan Lowe and Ethan Bear. So Ethan Bear still down there in the AHL. This I don't exactly agree with. Honestly, if you're going to go anyway, I think Bear has got to be your 7th defenseman. But you're seeing where I'm going with this, right? If Bouchard's in the top 6, I'm missing a name somewhere along the way. There's 2 names I'm missing according to Bob Stauffer at the bottom of this tweet. You want to mix that pot some more, guys? Let's keep it going. And then you've got Legason and Day. Day would then be on an NHL deal. We've discussed this before. Day is in need of a deal, and indeed he will get one right away because, well, I think the Oilers have a very big beauty in this guy as well. So I just got to call Buddy back here after the video, and we will talk to him in a bit. But right now, guys, continuing the video. Talk to you in a bit, Budsy. And then, well, what do you do? What do you do? From there, Oilers prospects on the decor, guys. This is where we get back into the discussion. There's Oilers non-roster players who are going to fight their way into the conversation in camp. Guys, we're talking about Marcus Niemelainen. We're talking about Philip Berglund, right? There's a couple of names out there. I might be able to date this. Oilers chart might be able to date, but this is what's on the Oilers site, so don't worry about it. And another guy that might fight his way in. I know it's a tough go. Hold on, let me see if I can find his contract. Yeah, RFA, Robin Norrell. Never mind, that's off the books. I was just making sure we had that contract sorted away. So yeah, Joel Persson, and of course then, according to Bob Stauffer, you would have Brandon Manning as your 7th defenseman in the AHL. So that rounds out your 18, 19, 20 guys in the skater core for the Bakersfield Condors, a group that I feel would be very good. I said there's a couple of guys, right? There's 3 or 4 guys that could really fight their way into the conversation. And amongst the forward and D core, I think what we're really missing discussing, and Bob Stauffer, of course, this is 1920 projections before the draft. That's the asterisk, right? We're putting the asterisk before the draft. So, okay, what does that mean? You pick up a European kid who's 19, right? I'm thinking a guy that I've become familiar with, Nando Egenberger, for instance. You pick him up in the 2nd or 3rd round. He's a guy that will need to play in the AHL next season. That's without a doubt, if he doesn't even, knowing the Oilers, earn himself a spot on the NHL roster. Just don't kid yourself. We know how this goes. But you understand where I'm coming with that, right? A 19-year-old European that's a little bit of a hot shot in the 2nd round might actually get into this AHL group and actually crack things a little bit differently than we'd expect for our Oilers in the AHL, whether they be Oilers or Condors, however you want to look at NHL, AHL deals, but you get what I'm going with. So that leaves us with the goaltending situation down there in Bakersfield, and this is where it gets really fun with Bob Stauffer, is he's got the same exact lineup minus Al Montoya, because Al Montoya, again, expiring. He's got Starrett, Skinner, and Wells, and then we'll get to the FYI in just a second. You can already guess that from the decor, though. So, Wells, well, what are we discussing? Okay, Stuart Skinner, Shane Starrett, and Dylan Wells. I think Shane Starrett is the backup. That's just the easy cap move. Honestly, yeah, you got to sign him to an NHL deal next year, but at 24, you can probably get him for $950. Unfortunately, if it would have been Peter Chiarelli, it would have been 1.6. That's just the way it goes. But we've got Ken Holland. He's realistic. He should be down to earth. He knows the cap science, and we should be good to get Shane Starrett under $1 million into the NHL lineup next year. Yes, don't have to go that way, but I think that's the easiest way to go. Now, Condors eliminated because impartial goaltending didn't hold up. So, okay. Let's not kid ourselves. But there is one name on here on the Oilers non-roster in the system list that I have to discuss, and that's Hayden Hockey, who had the fantastic year in the NCAA, and he's 24, which means his college hockey days are over. And this is a question mark. It's a Shane Starrett question mark as the backup in the NHL, as he is in the AHL, that being Hayden Hockey. Because you look at Hockey, he's 24 years old. Do you slow play him in the ECHL just because you don't have a spot for him with Shane Starrett, Stuart Skinner, and Dylan Wells? No, because if Shane Starrett is that NHL backup, you've got to have 3 goalies in the AHL. That's the way it works. And I mean, you can play Dylan Wells, you can play Stuart Skinner in the AHL to get them reps, or ECHL, get them reps and that kind of stuff. Hayden Hockey is a guy capable, from what we've seen in the NCAA, don't kid me, that could be bad numbers, but he's a guy capable of doing that job. So I think my biggest disagreement when it comes to Bob Stauffer on his list of the 2019-2020 Condors, I don't know the prospects as well as I should, never claim I do, but I think my biggest disagreement is the Hayden Hockey aspect not being on that list. So guys, what do you think? Is this sounding like a very exciting young core talent for the Edmonton Oilers, or what? I think you got to have a couple of other guys on this list as well. Benson could be an NHL guy. You've got Gambardella, who could be an NHL guy. Curry, who could be an NHL guy. There's a lot to discuss here. I could sit here and talk about it for 16, 20, 50 minutes, and we'd still be no further ahead than we are behind. Guys, leave a comment down below. Let's get engaging. Let's get talking. And I will catch you as always in the next one. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new. And I am up on out of here.